So the final marketing tool that you need for your business is email. Now, I know that this probably feels a little old hat, right? Email marketing, and it kind of gets forgotten. Email's been in our lives now for 20 plus years, so it may not be the first thing that jumps to mind when you think about marketing, but it is extremely important and extremely effective. So in this section, we're going to look at these points here. Do you have a dead leads list? We'll get into that. But if you do, and my guess is if you've been in business for a while, you do have a dead leads list. And if you do, you're sitting on a gold mine. We're going to look at the right approach when it comes to email marketing, and that is not copy and paste. You're going to hear that word again, repurpose, not copy and paste. And how often should you send out email? And that, of course, depends on your experience with each customer list. So, big idea for this section, the dead leads. Do you have clients who haven't bought from you in years? People that you've done business with in the past. And of course, this is predicated on you doing your due diligence on the front end and doing lead capture with your clients, getting their name, phone, and email. If you're not doing it, well then, still watch this section because it's going to be useful when you do start capturing email, but you need to capture that information from your leads, name, phone, and email. And if you have been doing that religiously, you probably have a list of people who, for whatever reason, haven't bought from you in a while. Now, I would classify a dead lead, and this is industry, dependent. It's gonna be different. In real estate, for instance, this isn't going to apply most likely because I would classify it as anyone who hasn't interacted with your business in over 12 months. Again, this is industry specific, but based on the norms of buying behavior in your industry, what would be considered an active client and what would be considered a dead client, someone who hasn't done business with you in a little while. So, if you do have that list of dead leads, those people who for whatever reason are no longer buying from you, are you communicating with them actively? With your active leads, those people who are doing business with you right now, you're communicating with them because they're coming into your business or they're buying your product. They have those touch points where they're interacting with your business. So you're communicating with them, but what about those people who have bought from you in the past and aren't buying currently? Are you communicating with them regularly, maintaining that relationship? That's the big idea. Email is all about maintaining regular communication and building that relationship. So your dead leads list, it is an absolute gold mine of potential sales. And here's why I say that. And I think most of you who are business owners out there would agree that there are two major hurdles when it comes to converting someone from a lead into a customer. Hurdle number one, overcoming the knowledge gap by finding out that you exist. So this answers the question, who are you? That's hurdle number one. Hurdle number two of turning a lead into a customer is that they trust your business enough to buy from you. So not only answering who are you, but why should I buy from you? Those are two big hurdles. Now, the beautiful part with dead leads is that they've overcome both these hurdles. They know who you are and they've bought from you before. But for whatever reason, they've stopped buying from you. Now it's probably not because they don't like you. They may have gotten busy with kids, they got a new job. They just stopped buying your product in particular. Their financial situation changed. They've just, for whatever reason, stopped coming around. Unless you did something to make them mad, it's probably not because they don't like you. And they would probably do business with you again if you just continue to maintain that relationship. But if you leave them in the dark and just sever that connection and stop talking to them, you'll never know if, when their situation changed, they would be interested in coming back to buy from you. Because if you're not talking to them, one of your competitors probably is. And when that financial situation changes or their kids get a little older or their new job settles out and they're ready to start buying your product again, it's going to be whoever's communicated with them that gets that dollar. So what are the basics of email? And number one, I think we all know this. That's probably why we've gotten kind of tired of it. It's cheap and even free sometimes. And it's an effective way to broadcast your message to a large group of people, right? You can kind of shotgun your message out there to a whole lot of people at once. And with email, what is really nice is that you can segment people. When you blast it out there, it's not just to everyone you've ever done business with, but you can segment your email down to certain lists, like dead leads, like active clients. If you have a website that allows you to capture cart abandons, that is an extremely valuable list. You know, these are people who maybe they started putting in their information on your funnel, then it came time to pull out a credit card and they freaked out and ran away. So, cart abandons. If you can capture that information and set up an email campaign to try to get them to complete that purchase, that's a lot of money that you're going to be bringing in that you wouldn't otherwise be getting. So what is the right approach with email? Again, you think back to the section on social media, that was all about the right approach, and email is the same way, because I think we all know how to use email. The point with email is, again, to build that relationship and stay engaged with that customer. Now, you do that, again, here's that all-important V word, by offering value. You don't do it by bombarding someone's inbox, asking them to spend money, right? To come to come to the site, buy this, buy that. That's the quickest path to getting an unsubscribe from your email list. So don't do that. Offer value, stay engaged, build the relationship. Don't just be hitting them up with your hands out asking for money. So what's the easiest way to offer value? Here's that important R word, repurpose. Repurpose the content you're already producing. But notice that it's repurpose and not copy and paste. This is where a lot of merchants, a lot of businesses get in trouble, is that they try to just copy and paste what they've already done and stick it in an email. That is the wrong approach. You have to keep in mind your channel. This is why you can't copy and paste. You're talking about a channel that's different from social media. It's someone's inbox. It's extremely personal to them. They're getting bombarded, as you can see from this picture, by hundreds of emails a day sometimes. Their inbox is absolutely overflowing. So not only is there heavy competition for your email to get noticed, but your channel is different. It's an inbox, which means it needs a different approach. So with regard to minding that channel, I'll ask you this to kind of get a little bit of reflection going here. When was the last time that you stopped and read an email? And this is an email not necessarily from maybe one of your work colleagues or your family members, but from a company that you've done business with and you got on their email list. When was the last time that you stopped and read one of those emails? We'll say more than 50% of the way through. So ask yourself, what was it that made you stop and take note of that email? As you were scanning through, figuring out what to read, what made you stop and read that email? In my mind, the best emails combine an effective subject line, that's your attention getter. When people are cruising their inbox, the subject line is going to be what stops and makes them take notice of your emails. That's the first element of an effective email, is a subject line. And then body copy that's enticing enough to make people want to take action or read more. So once you get their attention, you keep it and maintain it enough until they take the action that you want them to take. So email body copy, like the actual words and text in the email, it should be short and enticing. So you can't copy and paste your full blog post in here because people don't want to read long emails. Again, that's minding your channel. You can't just copy and paste those full blog posts into the email. But You could copy and paste maybe the first couple paragraphs. Or you could write an entirely new teaser for the email and drive them back to your blog to read more. Again, repurposing your content, being mindful of your channel. So, how do you reignite the spark and get that dead lead list humming along to generate some new sales and keep that relationship going? So here are some ideas. The welcome back offer. This is something along the lines of an email when you see something like, "Josh, we miss you," from a company. And it catches you off guard because you're thinking, who is this? But welcome back offer says that we know that you've done business with us in the past and we want you to come back and do business with us again. This could be like a 50% off offer. You know, your next purchase, take 50% off. A welcome back offer, just to kind of get them thinking about your company again and maybe wanting to spend some money. This could be a free gift. You know, a guide to 2018's hottest trends. You know, if you're a travel agent, you could put out 2018's hottest vacation destinations. Send that to your dead leads as a free gift. If you're in real estate, this could be a list of foreclosure homes or the hottest properties in your area with pools. You know, a free gift is a great way to reignite that relationship and also offer value. You know, you could also put them on some kind of drip campaign with your content. And again, this is minding your channel. You want to preview that content and push them back to your site. If what you're putting out there is helpful to your active leads and to your customers, then it should be helpful to those dead leads as well. And you don't have to necessarily sell them something with your drip campaign, with your content. But what you're trying to do is get back with that top of mind awareness. So when people think of a realtor in town or someone to cut their hair or mow their lawn or give them an insurance quote, because they've been seeing your content in their inbox, maybe they read some of it and checked out your podcast or your blog post, you're the first one that they think about. That's extremely important too, top of mind awareness. So how often should you be sending emails to these two important categories here, dead leads and active leads? So with dead leads, and this is all going to be trial and error. I don't have a hard and fast answer from you, but I would say at least once a week with your dead leads, and then watch your open rates and your unsubscribe rates to see if you can send more. For dead leads, those people who haven't interacted with your business in about a year or more, I would say anything north of a 15 to 20% open rate is a pretty good. I would call that a success. Industry dependent again, but generally speaking, 15 to 20% open rate, very positive. Now when I say unsubscribes, good chance you're going to get a high unsubscribe rate right away after that first send, and that's okay. Some people are going to move on once they get that initial email, and that's totally fine. That's just kind of, thinning the herd a little bit and getting down to those people who actually want to stick around and maybe do business again. So don't worry so much about the first email. Just watch your unsubscribe rate after that first email. And if you see that your open rate is going down and your unsubscribe rate is going up after you've been sending emails for a little while, scale it back. Maybe don't send it as frequently. But if your open rates continue to go up and your unsubscribe rate is going down, you could try sending a little more. Maybe if you started out sending once a week and your open rates are up and your unsubs are down, you could try sending twice a week. See what that does to those rates. So again, just monitor it, test it, try stuff out, see what works, and then change your approach from there. Now with your active leads, daily is probably too much. I think any company that sends out daily emails, I think you'd all agree it starts to feel a little spammy at that point. But if you can send something out 2 to 3 times a week, especially to those ultra loyal customers, those 20% of your customer base who contribute 80% of your income, and a lot of us have heard of this 80-20 rule, those ultra loyal customers who contribute about 80% of your income, I think you could send to them 2 to 3 times per week and that would be about right. Now, make sure that however often that you send them, that you vary your approach. We talked about some ways to reignite the spark with dead leads, and the same is true with your active leads as well. Mix in some content, mix in some special offers, mix in some value, just vary that approach so they're not getting too used to what you're sending, so that they have motivation to keep opening because they don't know what you're sending from one day to the next. Now, when it comes to email, again, I always want to tell you some free ways to be able to do this effectively. There are a lot of options out there for email marketing. These are 3 of the most popular: MailChimp, Constant Contact, Aweber. With regards to pricing, I use MailChimp. It has a free version with limits, how many times you can send, and what size your list can be, and how often you can send to them. But unless you've got a really huge list with tens of thousands of people, that MailChimp is a nice free option. Constant Contact and Aweber, they have free trials, but they do not have any free plans, so you do have to pay for those too. Like I said, there's lots of different options out there with regard to your email. So, challenging thought here as we wrap up the email section. Email is easy and it's cheap. And it's a great way to maintain those customer relationships, to stay in touch, to make the effort. But keep in mind, the same rules that apply to content apply with email: consistency and quality. Be consistent with your emails. Don't send them out for a couple weeks and then fizzle out, because that is a poor reflection on your business. And don't send out crap. Don't just copy and paste that blog post into your email. Always repurpose your content, mind your channel, offer value, and keep the quality high.